So forgiveness is something you need to look at. You're in MGTOW. You're going your own way. You're using MGTOW as a platform to change your life. If you are following me or you're looking at my videos, you will see some ideas that I've talked about that you could look at and see if they're applicable to your life. And this is just another idea to consider, way of thinking, and that is forgiveness. There is a story, Eastern story of a businessman being upset that his children was following this Buddha. So he was angry and he went to this Buddha, and he was to confront the Buddha. And for some reason he couldn't speak his mind in the presence of the Buddha, but he was still angry. He felt like whatever energy was there, and he spit on the Buddha, and the Buddha smiled at him. He saw the Buddha smile and he left, and that bothered him, throughout the day and night. So for some reason, he had a change of heart and or a way of thinking, whatever it was, and he came to apologize to the Buddha. And the Buddha basically told him he had nothing to forgive him for. The person that's here today, that spotted him yesterday, isn't here today. So he has nothing to forgive him for. And that's the level of forgiveness that you need to be able to extend to yourself, because the person that you were yesterday, especially if you're grinding in MGTOW, using the MGTOW philosophy of just going your own way, it may have originated in going your own way from women, but in relationships. But it's a lot bigger than that if you really stop to think about it. It may not be a religion or your denomination of that sort, but the principles still apply in that regard. As you grow and change, people won't recognize you, as I spoke about in another video, and a lot of times they forget some of the wrongs that you've done. Especially because you have to keep in mind, we as men, nobody is perfect. So if you're on a high horse thinking that that you did not contribute to the failure of your relationships in any way, shape, or form, you got another thing coming. You did, and it might have been simply by selecting, or you're simping out and accepting the wrong girl for you, just because you didn't want to be lonely. You wanted some kind of status. So, as men, ultimately, the blame falls on us, on our part. When we are looking at self-growth and stuff, it's easy to point blame, but men are typically not raised, at least used to be, not raised to point blame. If you look at some of the Eastern philosophies, one of the things they talk about, as far as pointing blame, is that it's not spiritual or religious to identify someone who has wronged you to somebody else. That's what karma and dharma is for. Anyhow, that's for a different video. So learn to forgive yourself in the sense that you've changed. So the person that was doing those things don't exist anymore. So you are not the same person that you were 3-4 years ago, 4 months ago, 2 days ago. You're a different person today. You're not that person. Okay? So keep in mind from that perspective. If you're looking for like a Western religious philosophy, Jesus talked about, if you get slapped, turn the other cheek. If your brother wrong you, how many times to forgive him is 70 times 7. Now, there are a couple of ways to look at that. You could look at that as though you forgive and forget. And the other way to look at it is because that is if the woman in your relationship, really was at fault in most cases, or continue the path of destroying a relationship. Um, when you identified some of the things that was going on, you tried to correct, right? Um, the traumas from that can be severe in a lot of cases, so we tend not to forget. And when you don't forget, it can trigger reenactments of it in your mind. Um, Obviously, it's a very difficult thing for memory to be erased, but you got to approach it in a sense, kind of like to forget it. And why it won't come back to bite you is because you're not the same person you were when that stuff was occurring, because you've taken the time to develop and grow in the eight healths, and you're more healthy in the eight healths. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look at the video that I did on that. I posted on that recently. So keep in mind, keep forgiveness in mind as you're on your journey, in the sense that you're not that person anymore. There's nothing to forgive. You will also find, again, there are people out there who you may have wronged, will see that you're different as you're on this journey, and they won't remember some of the things that you've done, where it's already forgiven subconsciously, basically, because you're not that person. And that level of forgiveness is far superior to the forgive and forget mentality, or the forgive and remember mentality. Now, there's another Western saying, those who fail to remember their past is doomed to repeat it. And that has some truth on one level, but if you want to take it to the next level, if you have changed and you're a different person than you were in your past, you will not repeat your past. So like, subscribe, share the video. If it's worth sharing, you'll have a good day.